Why is it? You didn't hit it.
Show the gut to the side. Look at that thing, man. Like, that, to me, looks like a PB. What do you think? That's going over 5. No, it's not 5, but holy crap.
Dude.
Damn right.
That's a 4.
Dude, 4 pounder after bat. Here we go. Oh my god. Dude.
Good job,
Look at that. I have big hands. That thing's huge. Girthy. That's triple C thick. I'm calling them today, boys.
Oh, hey, Prince. What'd you say?
Am I right?
You are absolutely right. How's it going, everybody? Who we got? 603 Wild, Brendan, David, Chris, Dave. Brendan again. Dave. What's going on, everybody? How's everybody doing? How you been? We got some goodies to show off tonight. Hey, Brian. We got a lot of stuff. I just realized that camera angle is I mean it's good, but
it's okay.
It's okay. We changed things a little bit.
You guys will
Tried to make it fit. Drink of Champions.
Oh yeah, always.
You're welcome. Came prepared. Who else we got here? So Brian, Alex. Hello. Oliver. Shoot 'em on. You guys need to wear helmets. Dude, you know how many times I saw that comment in the post? Like,
dude, it's like every other comment's like, oh, fishing is a contact sport.
Yes, it is.
Sure is.
What's going on, Nick? Thanks for joining. We got a lot to discuss tonight. Primarily, we're going to talk about channel memberships first, and then we're going to do the fishing report. We got some loose stuff to show off. And then we're going to talk a lot about early spring bass fishing tips, techniques, tactics, whatever you want to call it.
Mm-hmm.
And it is not just because of the mega bag that we caught the other day. We've caught quite a lot of big fish and numbers for early spring bass fishing, so we're well versed in it. What happened Sunday was nothing short of bonerific. So
yeah, we kind of just like stumbled on like a mega school.
Well, yeah, no, you're right. Stumbled on it, but more than anything, we're also well versed enough to know how to capitalize on it
And when to.
and what
And when to.
and when to.
Was that a concussion?
And Sean, does it smell like Fruit Loops in here?
I could smell the light.
What's up, Lizard? Oliver, hey now. I've been watching videos for a while. Love the content. Thanks, buddy. Appreciate it. King Bates, hey. Mr. Miller. How you doing, friend? It's 8:05.
18.
That's take that back right now.
Oh, you are too. Seen that coming.
Oh, he's got dad jokes. All right. We always wait 5 minutes in. People get in here and then we can start talking. Hey, Joe, thank you very much on the congratulations there. Dude, that was absolutely insane. We're gonna talk about it a lot because it absolutely is pertinent to the topic at hand tonight. Mm-hmm. But we got a few more things to cover first, so let's get started. First and foremost, if you guys have not dropped the like on the stream yet, please do so. Greatly appreciate it. It has been absolutely helpful for what you guys have been doing for us, for sharing it. Like, you guys have been killing it on sharing things. And I really should show the stats at some point. Like, the trajectory prior to like us really asking and you guys really following through with like, hey, can you share stuff? It was kind of like not flat, but and ever since like 2 months ago when really started asking, it's like this. It's fucking crazy. We tripled our like average growth, which is awesome, and we owe a lot of that to you guys. So thank you very much for that. Keep it up. It's awesome. It's nuts where this whole thing is heading. Yeah. So if you do that, please, would greatly appreciate it. One of the other things I want to talk about is channel memberships. It's something we launched recently. We have not had much of a chance to really talk about it. Sorry. Thank you, Carla. Andrew's mom is here to say she forgives me.
Hi, Mom.
So channel memberships. It is a new feature that we offer on the channel. You guys can go ahead and join the memberships, and there's different tiers and there's different rewards at every tier. I do know that for $19.99 a month, that gets you guys into basically an extra free private live stream every month, which to me I think is pretty dope. But there's other things too. At different tiers, you get things like free t-shirts and or hats. We give you your choice. Free decals. You get stuff to use inside the chat, the whole 9 yards. So if you're interested in doing that, go for it. We'd greatly appreciate it. You guys give to us, we give back in addition to it. So that would be wonderful. Aside from that, for anybody that wants to just donate, that's also very helpful. We've done a lot of amazing things with that money. So if you're interested, if you have it set up, you can donate right here on YouTube, or in the video description below, there is a link to both our Venmo and PayPal. It does not matter to us either way. We make good use of it, just reinvesting back in everything that we do. And then finally, also very nicely important, not just his head, but see this thing? See this hat? Show it off. Model it, sir.
Look at this thing. It's sick.
We have the store is finally up. So in the video description below, on Facebook, on Instagram, like it's everywhere. I believe it's 603bass.myshopify.com, or it's vice versa. I forgot off the top of my head. I will put it in the chat shortly. So we have the storefront up. There's not a ton of stuff in there right now, but more is coming. The hoodies have arrived, not printed yet, but they're here. So I'm working with my vendor. We're going to get those printed up. We're going to have a ton more t-shirts, may have some more hats coming soon here too. There's a lot going on, but if you guys want to order stuff, please, by all means, go ahead. Give us a couple of days to fulfill orders. It is just us, and we do work full-time jobs still. But thus far, we've gotten the first 2 orders out inside of 2 days. I've got 7 more orders that we have to pack tonight, so they can go out tomorrow. It's been good. I'm very, very happy with the support you guys have showed us so far. So thank you. 1,000 views already on Andrew's concussion video. Yeah, that video is unsurprisingly doing very well.
Kind of figured it would.
He insisted we post that.
Like, just post the freaking thing. It's hilarious.
It was. And especially like where it just missed my head by like an inch or 2.
Yeah, that was not on purpose.
No, dude,
I promise you it was not on purpose.
I had one comment on a spot I posted where it was like, that wasn't cool of him to like immediately cast at your head. I'm like, no, that was not intentional.
No, if you look at the picture, I don't know if you posted the screenshot of the bait going over your head.
No, I didn't.
Full of
weeds and stuff.
Yeah, stuff. Like I ripped it out because I thought it was a fish, and it went right over it.
That would have been something else. Turn it back to the chat really quick. Thank you, John, on the freaking amazing day. Alec, the Bash Brothers themselves. Congrats on the big bag. Thank you. Joe, I did 27 pounds in 2 hours last spring. Those are the days you dream all winter about. Still searching for the dirty 30. That's friggin' incredible. Yeah. I'm curious if you're willing to share what'd you catch them on, because we're absolutely going to share what we did with that. Mm-hmm. You don't hear of many 25-plus pound bags in New England. Those are hard to come by, and once you get even north of that, even harder to come by. But dirty 30 is still on my list of things to accomplish. And right now we are planning on going back to the St. Lawrence in July. So dirty 30 on smallmouth is really what I'm thinking. Mm-hmm. Now we can go to Canada.
Oh, yeah.
So there's actually like a legitimate chance it could happen.
There's a spot I've been eyeing the last 3 years up there.
It gonna happen.
It's gonna happen.
Yeah. Who else we got? Ron, hey buddy. Ben, TV18. Andrew, hope your head is okay. Can't lose any more brain cells. Kidding.
No, you're not. I can't.
Shoot him on. I cannot speak to that rod, so hopefully somebody else in the chat can. Any bass addict, David can. Absolutely. He's well versed on those rods. All right, so we covered quick intro. We've covered the channel memberships, by the way. You guys should totally sign up for those. Donations, if you guys want. Donation goal. Sorry, I saw that from Ben. We don't have one at the moment. We have purchased pretty much everything that we need that like comes immediately to mind. I've had things going on, all good things right now with career-wise that has really eaten up a lot of my time and focus. So I didn't get a chance to address that tonight, but rest assured, it all gets used for good things. So don't let that stop you. We covered everything. All right, real quick before we do the the benefit to the trip recap is that it plays into the tonight's topic. So real quick, we have a bunch of fancy stuff from Lose. Our primary sponsor. They have been very, very, very good to me now for, is this the 4th straight season or 3rd? I think it's the 4th straight season.
4th.
So 3 years, 4 seasons. Got renewed for the year, in addition to being signed by Strike King, which is nice to be able to have those kind of level of sponsors for everything that we do. And they are very, very good to us, which is phenomenal. So we got to restock for the season, and we did not go light.
No, we did not. Well, actually, we kind of did with the custom light reel.
Oh my god. So first and foremost, I already have one of these.
I don't have one of these yet.
Andrew wants it. Oh yeah, you should just show off. There's no point in taking the same reel out.
This is the Hyper Mag.
Dude, that thing is butter.
The 8.3 to 1. This is going to be my new, my new jig reel.
That's a 5.5 ounce reel, by the way.
Yeah, it's nice. This thing's sputtery smooth too.
What did Joe? Hey, I missed Joe. One spot, cycle through multiple baits, jerkbaits, chatter jig, and left the spot, rest for an hour in between. Hell yeah, dude, that's awesome. Anyway, continue.
This thing is freaking amazing. I cannot wait to put this on.
I've been using it for 3 years, and it's still my workhorse jig reel, and that thing is absolutely worth its weight in gold. Then, so we both got one of those. Same deal, 8.3 to 1. Is that what we said?
8.3 to 1, yeah.
Yep. Then, new for Lose this year is the Custom Light Speed Spool SLP. Another carbon handle. This is a 7.5 to 1. This thing...
Is that the light?
Yeah.
That's got the carbon handle on it too?
Yes, sir. I'm excited to use this. This thing, I mean, I got big hands anyway, but that's a good size. Yeah.
Hyper Mag has it too.
Yep.
Cool.
Excited for this. I think this is going to be my soft, like my light duty soft bait reel. I'm really excited about this one.
Oh, light. 7.5 to 1.
Yeah, and I think I'm going to put it on a 7-foot medium heavy. 7-foot medium fast is what I was planning on with that. So I've already got, I Lose Hyper Mag. I bought a second one. I say bought. We got from Lose a second one for my other custom jig rod that I'm having built by John at Wicked Custom Rods. Hope he's listening. I want that soon. Andrew got the same one because he's getting the same jig rod being built, so he got a Hyper Mag for his new jig rod as well. They're going to be 7.3 heavy fast is what those jig rods are going to be.
And then
You got the Super Duty? Yeah.
Yeah, and then we both went and got a 6.5 to 1 Super Duty. Is this the wide?
Yep, that's the Super Duty 300 wide.
Super Duty 300 wide.
Which
it is, I mean...
workhorse reel. Absolute workhorse.
Compared to the Hyper Mag.
Hell yeah, I crank in tanks. I love Candlewood, dude. I can't wait to get back down there soon.
I don't know if you can tell the difference by...
Yeah, I would say so. I mean, it's taller, definitely wider, but the if you tilt them just a little bit,
Which way? This way?
just like cockeye them a little bit.
Like
just twist your wrists. So no, not like you're tuning in Tokyo. Like roll them.
Here. Oh, that way.
Yeah. So you can see. Sorry. Hopefully you're able to see that. There's quite a big difference in line capacity with these two, which plus side to the 300. I mean, I've caught some pretty big stripers on that. You didn't have that for that day.
I didn't have
when you
it for
caught
that
those
day.
34 inchers.
Caught some big bass on this reel though, and I've gone in the ocean with it. I've used it. I used it down in Florida in the ocean for a week, and this thing is still amazing. So I had to get another one for the matching Super Duty. What is this thing? Is this 8 foot?
That's the 711 heavy fast.
Oh yeah, 711 extra heavy, moderate fast. Jesus,
You got the slightly different one because
Yeah.
you got the heavier one. Mine's only rated to 6 ounces. Yours is rated what? 10?
4 to 10.
4 to 10. Yeah.
Yeah.
You want the big boy.
Yeah, I wanted big.
Yeah.
Ready to go home.
Oh yeah, last but not least, actually, so like everything else we have is pretty straightforward. You should, I want to show off this one. So
I kind of figured you did.
I needed, I don't need anything. What I wanted was another ultra finesse rod, and I have one from Wicked Custom, but there was a defect with the rod blank. But I'm having trouble here. So I needed another one for a stopgap for the time being, but also I really want to expand on my finesse setup. So I got one of the new Team Lou's Signature Series Mark Zona rods. And this thing,
Oh, shit.
oh my God, is that light. 7.4 medium extra fast, power finesse.
Jesus, dude.
That is something else. So it's got the wind grips. I don't know if I can do this. Yeah, boop. There we go. Focus. Come on, camera. You can do it. It won't do it. Whatever. You'll just have to... You kind of get the gist of it. It's still plastic. I mean, you literally just saw me pull it out of the bag. This thing is going to be mint. I'm using this for my ultra finesse stuff, so it should be pretty good. I really like that silver on it. Everything else is black. Black and blue, baby. That's what I like best, but I do like that I have a little bit more color in this now with some silver.
Likes to make his friends black and blue, too.
Sorry. Oliver, I really like St. Croix rods. I think they're great. That's literally all I fished prior to getting sponsored by Luz. So I ended up selling a lot of them because they were still in great condition. Yeah, I like St. Croix. They're good. Hey, New Hampshire fishing gal. Grat, new reels like a kid on Christmas. Damn right. I owe you a hat, by the way. I'm going to get that out tonight. You gotta tell me which one you want, though. I think that's one thing we didn't know.
Custom Pro. What is this one? I don't even know.
What, that reel? As far as what?
Team Lou's Custom Pro Speed Spin.
Yeah, the 3000.
3000 series.
I have 4 of those now, and they are a phenomenal reel.
I can't wait to use that. That's... Oh, my God. It's so smooth.
I got to put the website up in the chat in a second. So that's what we got for this year for now.
And a couple rods, but I'm not going to go over those.
Yeah, we have a lot more money to play with that we'll be getting more stuff, but for now this gets us what we need to get on with our season, and we'll tackle it from there. Get it? Tackle it. Dad jokes. Puns. Bad puns at that. I need, you know what? I need to get that other mic stand back that's that boom mic instead of this stand because I can't type.
Well,
anyway,
put it on real quick?
Huh? Nah, don't worry about it. Let's see. What are we missing for the chat? Real quick to the chat, and then we're going to jump into it. Check out the site. Oh, yeah, I got to put the link to the site. Should have been standing there, Andrew. Yeah, it's his fault.
You should have stayed, Sean.
I know. I was. Yeah, Sean, you missed out. All right, let me get... Joe, I got your message. Don't worry about it, buddy. Secret safe with me. All right, let me get the website link. Before I do anything else, you can read. You can't read chat right now. That's okay. I got this. It's gonna be really quick. Watch how quick this is. Bing.
Quick.
Bong. And check out the new store. And paste and enter and pin.
There you go.
Did Andrew press record?
Yes. Thank you, Brian.
Thanks, Brian. You know what? It's okay. We're only going to post like the most important part of this, so it's all good.
Brian, you add to my memory loss.
What's going on, Al? All right, we are ready to we're ready to dive in. We covered everything in 15 minutes. Now, talk about what happened on Sunday. And then
I don't remember.
This is going to be a little bit longer than it normally would be for a number of reasons, right? But it's important because while there will be structure to the conversation, as far as covering early spring bass fishing tips, this is going to be a little outside of that structure, but pay attention. It's not just us sharing what we did this weekend. That it's going to be layered and laced with early spring fishing tips. So I want to be able to preface everything by that. Do you want to start? Or do you want me to kind of get the ball rolling?
Yeah, I like to chase the ball.
Okay. So we went to a spot in Massachusetts, and that's all you're going to know. There are probably people that will recognize it, like so many other places that we fish. I will reiterate this point more often than usual. We don't share spots because out of respect. A lot of places that we fish tend to be someone's honey hole, and the last thing I want to do is inadvertently, carelessly blow up somebody's spot. We don't share it. most of the time we don't even tell you where we are other than what state we were in for that reason. So for people asking, stop. I'm not going to tell you, and I'm never going to. And that's not me being a dick. I'm trying to say it in a very like intentional, cannot be misunderstood manner. I'm never going to share that information with you. If it's a lake that you already know and you and I have discussed it, I will absolutely tell you that where I was, because it is something that you and I have already spoken about. So there's that mutual respect, right?
Blow it up.
If you're just asking me where we're fishing, we're never going to tell you, because that's just not how this works. And more than anything, it's just us trying to be able to do the things that we like to do while still being respectful of the bodies of water that we fish. So the thing is, there's been a couple of places that have blown up from us fishing there and having good days at no fault of our own. It's the people that already know the lakes that just start spouting it out and sharing it. But then the memory that the blame falls on our shoulders just because we posted a video there. We didn't tell anybody where we were. The only way you're going to know it is if you already know it. So if it's that important to you, when you see it and you recognize it, don't say anything, because we aren't. We haven't told a soul where we fish for 99 out of 100 places we fished. There's a couple of really crappy spots that we fished that like...
Yep, that's exactly where we were. Long Island Sound.
Yep.
Catching zombie stripers.
Yeah, so it's... there's tons of ponds that I will absolutely share with anybody, because it's full of like just, rat-sized fish, 1 to 2 pounders. And I want those spots, like those are great spots to share. And those are the spots that I'll always share so that people can just get on fish. Really what it comes down to. And honestly, those spots would really do well from some fish dying off to kind of help balance out the population. So there's that. There is a couple of exceptions. Like if we're on Winnipesaukee, I'll tell you that. If we're on Champlain, I'll tell you that. Candlewood, I think I have shared Candlewood. Giant bodies of water, I will likely share, because just because we did well in one spot, that doesn't matter. Big bodies of water, a little bit of this is again a different story. Otherwise,
I won't tell you I went to Winnie because I'm ashamed if I ever go there.
It's because we suck at it. Everybody else, we don't suck at it.
No,
we
I just
really
hate
don't.
that place.
Yeah, I hate
people.
everything that goes with it. So I know I kind of went off on a rant. I said we're going to talk about the thing, but this is something that's really important, and I just want people to understand where we are coming from. I know I'm speaking, but I know Andrew and I have spoken about this at length, and we want people to truly understand why we don't share those locations. And exactly, Joe, don't share locations on Winnie. We can still be friends. There's been plenty of days we fish up there and caught some good fish. We didn't share those clips. We posted pictures and been careful with how we took the pictures.
Back it up against a bank where all you can see is a couple trees, and that's it.
Yeah, and I've done that plenty of other places. So, it's just trying to show that mutual respect. I just don't want to blow up anybody's spots. And the couple places that I know that have been blown up and people say it's because of us, it's not. It's because of the people that already knew about it that just started running their mouths. Oh my God, 603 was out fishing this lake. Did you see what they did? Or what they didn't do, they suck, which is that I'm sure has happened more than enough.
Yeah.
So that's what it is. I will answer a couple of questions in the chat before we really dive into it, because that really went off. I appreciate that you guys appreciate our point of view on this. Most people have that fisherman code of respect, as J-Rock put it. That's spot on. And there was over and over again. People have seen it over and over again with other people who have bought camps in Maine and said the name of every lake, and now they're blown up. It's awful. Yeah, Brendan, exactly. Shire, you don't talk about Fight Club. Ronald, couldn't find long sleeve summer fishing shirts. We'll mess around after. I don't have them yet. Whatever you see, there's only 8 items. 5 different hats, 2 different t-shirts, and then decals, of which I'm very low on stock and everything. Everything except for decals has been ordered. So a whole restock is coming very, very soon. And my crack shipping building team is now here, so he can build stuff. And then my 2 kids, my crack shipping department, have been running stuff to the post office for me.
Crack?
So, okay. We're making progress. Anyway, so that's where we're at. All right, let's talk about Sunday. So we went to a spot in Massachusetts. Back on track here. I will only tell you it iced out about a week ago, but that doesn't help you because like a third of Massachusetts iced out over the last week. So good luck. I will say that what this place has to offer that made it our primary choice is that it has a variety of structure, which I like this time of the year. You never like, I'm not as good at fishing grass as I want to be. I'm really good at fishing rocks, and this place has both. So that's why we like to go here. Depending upon what they're on, we're going to figure it out one way or another. The other thing that's really good about this, and I know that it's something that we have stressed so many times in videos, is the location of the transitions, the type of the transitions, and then what's available outside that transition. What the hell am I talking about with transitions? If you don't know, from deeper water, either next to or into or just very closely adjacent to wintering areas, to mega shallow spots. We have said this time and time again. When you get into that early spring bite, you get one of those warming trends. Nice, bright, sunny day. You got some wind, so it's taking whatever little bit of warmer water and just kind of like pushing it along the surface, and it's warming up one side of the lake a little bit more than the other. And even better, if that's all happening on the north side of the lake, which is always going to be warmest. Mm-hmm. Those are the spots to look for. That's why we're here. It kind of has, and it's not unique in that respect, right? There's plenty of other places that are like this, but it has a great shallow kind of spawning flat, north side. There's multiple access points to it, where outside those access points, it's deeper water.
Drops right off.
Yep, and one side is a little bit more, I guess, the hell's the word before? Drastic in change in that transition. One side's kind of shallower, but there's good stuff on that outside, and this is key. It's not just deeper water. There's rocks and grass. So you got if they're feeding down or suspended, you got them covered in one spot.
Right there.
Same with the other side, but it's a little bit deeper and steeper banks, so you have an even quicker transition, which can be very, very important at this time of the year. And then it all funnels into a nice shallow area that's like a dark, mucky bottom. It's got old lily pad beds. It's got some vegetation. It just gets warm fast. So if they're not on those outside edges, chances are they're going to move up.
I mean, from that deeper water, we moved up, 200 feet?
200 feet total, and it jumped 6 degrees.
Yeah.
Case in point. So this is definitely kind of like, I wouldn't say it's a Goldilocks kind of thing, but it's borderline that. I know of a couple other places that have damn near identical layouts. So it's not really that special in that regard, but it is special because there's really only a handful of places that I have personally fished that this works out. So that's why we decided to go there. What made it feel really good, even though the water level wasn't where we thought it would be, our buddy Steve met us down there. He got to the ramp like a half an hour before us. I texted him. We were at a gas station, right? Last bathroom stop, and we were getting food and monsters for the day. And he's like, yeah, man, I think we're going to be good. And a bunch of dots. And I'm like, that's a lot of dots, Steven. What do you mean? Sends me a picture of a 4 1/4 that he caught from the bank at 6:30 in the morning.
In 3 feet of water.
Okay. It's going to be a good day.
It's going to be a good day.
I'm texting Andrew from the bathroom. He's like, pinch it off. Let's go.
Oh, yeah. That was the best goddamn gas station I've ever been to.
Oh, yeah. Alltown, by the way. If there's one sponsor
amazing.
I could pick, we should get Alltown to sponsor us. That'd be amazing.
Yeah.
So there you go. That's the whole setup. That's what led us to make that decision to go here, specifically because of this time period, right? That early spring bass fishing. Everything it offered, and then having that automatic, yep, you made the right decision by Steve being right there and hitting it on the chatterbait. So, shallow water, big fish, moving bait, warming trend, warming water, it's got the makings of everything. Fast forward to 3 hours, I don't have a fish in the boat. You've got
two
dinks. They were literally the smallest bass we caught all day.
One was on the jig.
This is probably too loud.
And one was on
jerkbait.
I think I got the pickerel on a jerkbait. So I only have one bass, and I had one pickerel.
Okay, no, so it was Steve that caught two
or three.
Two bass.
Yeah.
One of them was good. It was like a 3-pounder on the jerkbait. Working that grass. So we were marking plenty of fish. We got a couple short strikes. Actually, I missed 3 fish in the rocks. So I was kind of casting that mid-depth range, 5-6 feet.
Yep.
And it bottoms out. Steve, help me out here if I'm wrong, 7 to 8 feet at the bottom of the grass. And at the top end of the rocks is really close to that transition up into the shallow. It's 3 feet of water. It has the makings of everything. And over the course of 150 feet, you've got the deepest point in that area with still structure in the former grass. up to the shallowest point of that area, which is shallow and big rocks and a variety of rocks too. So it's got that variety is really, really key for kind of bringing in fish and bait fish in the whole 9 yards I found this early in the year. And it's got some big boulders too. So you got really good ambush points the whole 9 yards. Like it's got everything you want, again, about 150 feet, maybe 200.
Yeah, probably close to 200, yeah.
And it's right outside a big but shallow flat. So that was our primary focus. We did try a deeper spot, little offshore, didn't work out. Mark's plenty of fish, but they weren't playing. You'll see it in the video when I upload it next week, but I don't typically do well fishing offshore, even like really close to offshore towards like mainland this early in the year. They like to be very, very close to those shallow areas. So we worked around, we went out down a different way, working, a bunch of steep banks. We knew there's some boulders and stuff, and I think Steve caught one more bass on the jerkbait, couple of pickerel. I got trucked by a pickerel, but nothing playing. So we went back up to that transition, and we were like, okay, let's move up shallow, because at this point now it was 11 o'clock, I want to say. Sun had been up, and it was getting warm, like hoodies came off. It was feeling good. So we move up, and now we're working that edge. It went from 6 feet up to 3 feet really quick, and then 100 feet past that, it's like 2 feet deep the whole way through. And things were looking promising. Water temp immediately jumped 3 degrees just from going from that 6 feet to 3 feet. We got 50 feet past that transition, and an immediate 3-degree water change. That's huge.
Yeah, and you ended up getting hit, 3 times, and then finally landing that first fish?
That fourth cast, I cast to just a rock. I'm kind of bouncing around a little bit, and I cast to a rock, and it's still 3 feet, but this is a little bit clearer of vegetation, a couple of little rocks, and then up against 2 or 3 really big rocks, like right along the bank, and it's kind of like an abrupt, albeit shallow, but an abrupt bank. Got 4 times it took me before I figured out the cadence to get that fish to bite. And Andrew reminded me, he's like, don't forget to pause. Or I think you say, like, yeah, I'm working the pause. I was like, oh, yeah, I didn't. Something we do. I have a short on YouTube where I talk about this. I did this last year.
And there's going to be another one.
Oh, it's going to be a good one.
And it's going to be an amazing one.
Timing
could not be any better.
No, it's even better. It's literally like the same thing for that short. If you haven't seen it, go watch it, because literally everything I say in that YouTube short, that 47-second video, will help you immensely with your Chatterbait game for right now. So I implore you, if you want the tip now, go watch it after the stream. So varying it. That's the big thing. Varying it. Got truck, missed it. So then I really worked in a pause. Hard pause, slow rolled out of it, boom. Okay, 3 1/4. I'm on the board finally. And then we got to wrap this up so we can kind of get into more specifics. So this is, again, still recapping Sunday. And then what happened from there, buddy? I think, then you caught your glide.
Oh, yeah.
And that was only like 3 minutes after I caught my 3.
He caught his fish on the Chatterbait. And then I was like, well, the wind's picking up. He just got bit on the Chatterbait. There's a rock right there, like 60 feet away, in the middle of nothing, on this flat, shallow flat. I'm like, I'm throwing the glide. I think I threw that thing maybe, I don't know, 6 or 7 times before I got hit on it. And that was probably one of the most excited I've been on a fish catch in a long time. You tried netting it, and I was like, you're taking too long.
To get the net off the ground. Dude, it bit like 20 feet from the boat, and I'm like, let me get that. And you're like, no, I'm flipping it. And I'm like, you effing animal. It's up in the air. You can see me like, trying to grab the line. And I caught it, and it hits the deck, and you're like, I'm trying to corral it. Let's bounce around. You're like,
It was awesome. It was amazing.
Yeah. So
spent $200 on a freaking glide and finally catch a fish on it.
And it was a good one. It was like 3 1/4. We figured maybe 3. It was kind of thin, but it was long.
Yeah,
I'd say 3 to 3 1/4.
Yeah, probably around there. Yeah.
It was a great fish, and again on the depth's 250. It was 10-inch bait.
10-inch, yeah.
Yeah. It was just it was crazy, but so I got my fish, and then 150 feet from where I caught mine is where he caught his. And then Steve ended up catching one. So now I've caught one on the Chatterbait. He's caught one on the Glide, and Steve caught one on the Chatterbait all in short order. So I'm like, okay.
Well, we're figuring it out. Here it is.
And it made sense. Like when we started seeing the vegetation stuff there, the dead lily pads, which I really like fishing early in the year, those just attract fish. Like if you know an area where there's a ton of lily pad fields, fish them early. Those fish and the bait fish gravitate to those in the spring like you wouldn't imagine. Don't really know why. I could probably guess. I just know it works. And it had like everything. Plus that dark mucky bottom, just dude, it got warm. And so it jumped 3 degrees as soon as we got back in there, and then it climbed even a little bit north of 50 at this point. So like, wow, okay, 4-degree temp, 3 good fish. This has got to be it. So now we're just going to dial it in.
Mm-hmm.
I fired up into just kind of I can't say too much. Anyway, we were getting close to some rocks, and I was like, I'm going to fire it right up the middle of this kind of like bigger area. I think I got 4 or 5 turns on my handle. Donk, 5.5 pounder, Chatterbait. Like, awesome. All right, we're on. And then we caught a couple more, and then Steve had to leave.
Yeah, so we brought Steve back to the launch, and there was another like super shallow area kind of near the launch. So we're like, let's just try this quick. Let's try in here. And then I caught, how big was that? 5.8? 5.80. I think that's what it came out to be.
5.80, yeah. And then, working in an area that was
pretty similar to what we had just worked.
More rocks, but same north side, shallow, rocky, hard, firm bottom, which is also really good to be fishing this time of the year. And some very limited vegetation, but immediately adjacent to deeper water. So, sorry, continue.
I don't remember what I was saying. Oh, yeah.
You got 5.8.
5, yeah, okay. 5.80. And we're like, okay, well, this is ridiculous. We've never caught a 5-pounder each on the same day except once last year when you were doing that, some bait, something or other. I don't remember what you were doing.
I'm trying to think. I know we did it on Winnie.
Did we?
Yep. Remember, first thing, it was early in the morning. You caught those 2 up by that spot.
All right, so we've done it a couple times. Just don't remember because concussion. Hello. And
that first one I caught, that 5. Remember I was throwing the friggin' whopper plopper, like the white one, and I was like literally 30 seconds before I bit. I'm like, I never caught a giant fish on whapper plopper.
Oh, yeah,
Don't 5-pound, 5 ounce. I was like,
5,
okay,
3.0 or whatever it was later that day.
Yeah, and then a 4.5 on 5.5, and then 4.5 on back-to-back casts.
Yeah, I don't
something
know,
like
whatever.
that. Onward.
So anyway, we were all excited, and so we ended up going back to where he had caught his fish, and we stayed there for another 4 hours, I think, maybe 5. What time did we leave the lake?
We were off the water on the ramp by like 5:30, and I think we left Steve. I think we went back in there to that area around. Yeah, it was like about 4 hours.
4.5 hours, something like that. And we pretty much just worked one end of it, and then when that bite started dying off, we came down to the bottom side where he caught his first fish, started working that, started catching them down there. And it's like we were chasing them all day long. They were just in there. We were just chasing them around and ended up working out.
Yep.
Did you tell him what you were throwing?
No. So this is where it's going to get really important because we've talked a lot about making adjustments based on the feedback you're getting from the lake, right? The fish. When he caught his 5.8, literally 1.5 casts before that, because you were out, I threw down a line and I got trucked.
Oh yeah, you broke off.
Yeah, at that point I forget how many fish I had, but I was using. So I throw 2 different rods for my chatterbait, and one that I primarily throw this time of the year is with braid. I can start the bait faster and I can work it slower while still feeling the vibration, and I do extremely well with it. Set the hook, broke it right off. I'm like, that sucks. So I'm retying it. We were doing the fire crawl jackhammer,
okay, yep,
which we've been using now for 4 seasons now. I think it's our 4th season throwing that combo,
so too,
and
yeah.
We've done phenomenal with it. Not always. Color is important, but that was it.
Most of
we
the
didn't
time,
even bother trying anything else.
No, we didn't. Most of the time in the spring, if you're like, it's just a very vibrant color, and they're looking to eat because they're warming up. They're gonna hammer it.
Yep.
Most of the time.
So I broke off, and Andrew, cheeky, oh, okay, and he throws right down that line, and he sticks that 5.8. So I wasn't thinking, and I grabbed what I thought I was throwing earlier was a 1/2 ounce jackhammer. Through the same trailer, Beast Coast Fishing, their Flippin' Delight, phenomenal trailer. Dude, that thing
Turn it
looked
sideways.
Yep. That looked so good as a trailer on the back of a jackhammer. And it's going to be incredible on a jig, just pitching on T-rig, whatever. That's a very versatile bait. It's got good meat, but really good action. So the durability is phenomenal without giving up too much action. Actually, if you guys are interested, you should absolutely go to the website because he's not going to get restocked for, I think he said 2 more weeks. And he just put up the last of whatever he has on the site now. So it's beastcoastfishing.com. Go buy it before it's out, because if you want to be throwing it right now, you absolutely should. They are. When we first saw the baits, I was like, "Holy shit, dude, you nailed this!" And he's like, I'm hopeful." I'm like, "No, you nailed
No,
this.
that's it. That's the one.
That's the one." And when we saw it in the tank of the expo, I was like, "No, dude, I told you, like, this is it. Like, that's phenomenal action on this bait." And I had the Chatterbait out because I didn't have any of his new like Chatterbait specific trailers. I didn't get any before he sold out. So I grabbed the Flippin' Delight, threw it on there sideways, and I soul rolled it once between him and I. We both looked at each other. We're like, "Oh yeah, no, that's gonna be perfect. A little more compact, but just enough action." It was. I cannot begin to tell you how perfect it was. I only went through 2 the whole day while doing this. So with that in mind, we go back there, and I've got the half ounce, and we get into a flurry. He did. I didn't. And I'm doing the same thing. And I already caught a handful of fish. And I think you caught like 4, maybe 5 in a row. Shit, could have been 6. And I'm like, and I'm watching. I'm like, maybe something changed with the cadence of the retrieve.
I was doing the same thing.
Same thing. He wasn't changing anything. And I was like, well, hold on. Are you throwing a 3/8 or a half ounce? He's like, I think I'm throwing a 3/8. So I pull my bait in and I'm like, well, show me. And I was like, oh yeah, shit, you got 3/8.
Thank God you switched to the 3/8. I'd probably be dead right now.
Yeah, Jesus Christ. More on that.
Just kidding.
So I was like, oh, maybe that's it. Maybe because we're fishing so shallow, that half ounce might just be too much. That on that pause, it's sinking too fast. Tie on the 3/8, bomb it, first cast, catch a fish. I'm like, yep, okay, that was it. And like, it was just game on, like he said, at that point for probably the next like 3.5 hours after I made that change. And funnily enough, you didn't even tie on a jackhammer until 5 minutes before you caught that 5.8.
Really?
It was that close. Yeah, because I caught one when we were working up to that point, and it was like another 3, and you were like, yeah, no, okay, I'm done with this. Give me one. I'll fish the glide in a little bit. And it was not even 5 minutes later, he sticks a 5.8 on that same thing.
That was the most crazy bite I've ever had.
I watched the video, by the way. If you want, I'll show it to you afterwards. Yeah. You weren't kidding. Like, he's reeling, and his rod just kind of like stops, and you just see the tip go, and he's just like, oh.
I thought I had like a log or something, because it literally just felt like I was dragging a log like out of like a tree or something. Just like, oh God, what the hell is this? And then it came up like, oh, grab the net, please, fucking grab the net.
We both saw the fish. I thought he had a 7. That thing had a dome on it.
Yeah, it did, but it was short.
Yeah, still a great fish.
Yep.
So, I mean, that's the gist of it, right? We just kept at it. We kept at it for hours. Like, we got to a point, and yes, we boxed our fish, and no, I don't care. We took our pictures. Everybody swam back nice and healthy. I kept the pumps running on them all day. Mm-hmm. We weren't even actually idling around the motor. We were on trolling motor all day. And I looked at him. I was like, we really should be getting going, but we'll fish through here kind of fast, and then we'll go spend 20 minutes at the spot. You got the 5.8. Maybe there's another one there, something. And then we'll get out of here. 2 minutes later, I catch a 4.44. And then I looked at him, we're not leaving. we end up catching a few more. We caught a bunch more 3s after that. I think we probably caught like another 5 or 6. No, more than that, like 8 or 10 fish.
Yeah, you guys definitely have to watch the quick tip video though.
For real.
It's gonna
when I make that
it's gonna be fucking insane.
I'm literally reiterating the short I already made, but up to date, new, and in 4K, by the way. And he sticks a fucking giant. Like, at the exact moment I finished talking, I'm like, just do that. Yep. It's amazing.
Awesome.
Tom Baker. No, so not sideways. Imagine you put a jig trailer right on a jig and it comes down through the legs. Take the bait, turn it 90. Wait, where's the scissors? Hang on. I literally have one. Unless you do. Let me just cut it off.
I don't have one. He's got one.
Ow! I meant to have this earlier. Sorry.
Oh God!
Reminding me. Oh,
that's a new rod, bud.
Yeah. Okay. Sorry. Yes. So first off, let's remove the skirt a little bit so you can see the Flippin' Delight. And Derek's going to kill me, but I can't remember the name of this. Oh, this thing stinks, by the way. Like in the best way you'd want for fishing.
Oh, dude, your hands stink for days after. It's gross.
So that's the Flippin' Delight. How close I can get. And also turn this so you can hear that.
Maybe.
So that's the green side. And it's a very, very dark green, but this is primarily red. And it does have claw appendages, and it's got 2 smaller appendages in the middle. But, so that's what I mean. You can see the hook shank, right? That's what I mean by turning it sideways. So when it swims, this is really hard.
Everything's doing this, pretty much. It's crazy.
They do that. And it looks like a fish's tail. Like it's not violent, but it's not subtle. It's perfect right in the middle. And that's literally all it is, man. It's just a evergreen, Z-Man evergreen jackhammer, 3/8 ounce fire craw. I have caught so many big fish on this. In all fairness, I've caught almost as many big fish on a black and blue as I have this. So it's, while it is good and it has its place,
I feel
it's
like
not
it's gonna
like
be one or the other.
Yep.
It's not like you got to go find that perfect match for bait fish this time of year.
No, well, I mean, think back to when I caught that 6.2 2 years ago.
That was black and blue.
It was black and blue, and I couldn't make that work. I could not make that friggin' fire craw work. But then we went back, same spot a week later, and they would only touch the fire craw. So it's important. We've said this 1,000 times. Color is everything. They just like the fire craw Sunday.
And if you can see,
oh, you're getting weeds on the equipment. Come on.
take that.
Try it again.
I don't know if you're gonna be able to see, but it's all chipped up. You can't see it. That is from working this thing across the top of the rocks. And that's how I actually got that 5.8, is pretty much just ticking it across the top of the rocks as it was going through.
Yep.
And if it caught a rock, snap it out, let it fall for about half a second, and then just continue slow rolling it.
I will say with the Chatterbait, it actually does pretty good for not really deflecting, but kind of rolling off of rocks. Mm-hmm. That shit will stick to wood like a magnet. No, dude, if you even look at it, thing's just like, yeah, and it rolls in and gets stuck. So just be forewarned. Mm-hmm. But for like, hard structure, it does a pretty good job of kind of rolling around. And I, like he said, we encourage that. Mm-hmm. Real quick, I'm looking at the chat. South Jersey, are you guys going to the New England Northeast Swimbait Expo in April? Yes, and we might be having a bigger presence. I don't know. There's a lot going on with my career. All good. All very, very good.
Uh-huh.
Timing of life it's something. So we'll see what we can do here. Yeah, South Jersey, it does kind of remind you of a Havoc Pit Boss. It's not the same by any means, trust me, but it's along that same size profile. So you are right on that. Joe Burchill, timing is greater than color. That I will absolutely agree with 100%. When you're in there, be exploring. No, be open-minded on your color choices, because it will matter more often than not. So there's that. So okay, that's the recap. But in that, we talked a lot about why we chose those areas and what we did, what we found. Being able to play with that cadence is important this time of the year, and that's what makes the Chatterbait so good. It has a very erratic retrieve and path it will take on that retrieve. It's loud, and more than anything, you can do a number of different things with it. You've done phenomenal just jigging it.
What, the Chatterbait?
Yeah.
Yeah, like a faster drag, and then just stop. And you kind of just like let it
Almost like a blade bait.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
You just
or lipless.
You rip it until you feel it start to vibrate, and just let it fall. And they'll come up, and they usually hit it as soon as, either when it's on the bottom, if you lift up again, they're usually there, or when you rip it again, they'll come up and smash it again as soon as it pops up out of the grass or out of the rocks or whatever you're working it around.
Yeah.
That's what I found out. That's what I found.
Erad, you catch them in a few feet of water shortly after ice out. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Only because of where that few feet of water is located. So I'm assuming you missed that part earlier in this, in that flat was special, and that with how shallow it was, which seems surprising this early in the year, right? Well, it was 6 degrees warmer than the next transitional point to that deeper water that they would typically be in this time of the year. That drastic of a shift in temperature had them all moved up. I will say this until I'm blue in the face. In the spring, those fish want to be warm. You will be amazed at how aggressively early bass will move into mega shallow water. It's all about the timing and the conditions. It's not always straightforward like, oh my God, it's a nice, 60-degree day and no clouds and everything. They're going to be up mega shallow because it's so warm out. Well, not if it was 30 the last 2 days. Sometimes it doesn't quite happen that fast. Sometimes it does. There's so many layers that go into it with, again, the conditions leading up to that day, what the water temp already currently was, what is there to help that body of water warm up fast that attracts the bass, what's adjacent to it. There's so many layers, and that's what we're going to further dive deeper into here. Mike, the yo-yo is really good sometimes. Spot on there, sir. Joe, I love the Alpha Anglers. Carl, just got 5 new ones. They have a custom shop too, which most people don't know. You can pick your thread colors. No shit. That's neat. I like it. John Mango, fish for schooling in 8 inches of water for me Sunday. That's awesome. We have days like that on our what we call home base. Mm-hmm. They'll get up there.
Oh, yeah.
We're going to take advantage of that again real soon. By the way, did you get that text?
Which one? No way.
It's open. Confirmed today.
Registering my boat this weekend. I don't give a shit.
Got to do it.
What?
Register it. Get it done.
Yeah, I'm going to.
So, before we go further into this, speaking of open water, right? Like the vast majority of Massachusetts is open. Connecticut, Rhode Island, like it's all there. New Hampshire is opening up fast. I checked that satellite imagery today. Like, trying to think. I would say as far west as Peterborough area, I'm starting to see open water. Based on satellite images, again, from, I forget the exact website, Modis Today, whatever. If you search MODIS and then Today, you'll get there. And it's a daily satellite image that opens up, set the thing to false color, for the settings in the top left, zoom way in, and you can kind of start to see. Open water shows up as black. Ice shows up as electric blue when you set it to false color settings. So I checked it again today. Like pretty much everything from Peterborough area in New Hampshire, east, and then as far north as just north of Manchester, like all of that is wide open. Open water season is here for a good chunk of great waters to fish in New Hampshire. So for everything up north, like Winnie is wicked dark. Same with Newfound. Newfound almost looks like it's open. It's so dark.
Really?
Tons of open water started to open up on Winnisquam. There's a couple other places up there. So like Lakes region's not that far behind. The smaller bodies of water, dude, like it's happening. Let's go stop bragging. Hey, fishing mode, dude. It's been a while, buddy. Thank you for stopping in. We're going to go fishing together, by the way. I'm serious. I know we talked about it. It's going to happen. Keep in mind. J-Rock had a crazy day Friday in Mass at Tiny Pond. 70 degrees and caught a 5.3 in a spinnerbait and 2 feet of water under laydown. That's what I like to hear, buddy. I will say one of my buddies in Connecticut, and that's all you get to know, already saw bass bedding in a body of water.
Holy shit.
It's a mega shallow lake. It's got all the makings to warm up fast for a number of reasons. But yeah, you already saw bedding bass, and that's all I'm going to say.
That's crazy.
It's coming. All that warm weather, man, it's coming. Although this freaking freezing rain shit tomorrow is going to suck for New Hampshire. I haven't even seen where else it's going to go.
I didn't even know it was happening until tonight.
Yeah, Joe. All right, so let's dive a little bit further into this. So there's obviously a few things we can talk about, and Andrew, I want you to kind of take the lead on the next point on this. But I really want to pay attention to chat too. So if you guys have questions, start keeping it coming. Yeah, that made sense. English is hard. Did I get hit in the head? Anyway, keep the questions coming, and we're gonna get to them. So keep that in mind. So we've covered like the gist of what we said about what we did Sunday. Like, now's the time. If you're not utilizing the internet and all the tools available to you to do your research before you go, now's the time to be doing it. Mm-hmm. You want to find bodies of water that have good, deeper water, and that's relative to the body of water. 8 feet might be crazy deep for a body of water if the max depth is, say, 9 or 10 feet. 8 feet may mean nothing in a place like Winnipesaukee that gets down to 198 feet. Actually, I think there's a spot where it goes to 202.
Where?
Winnie. I'm pretty sure there's a hole that it gets down to 202 feet, I think is the max depth on that lake.
Jesus, that's
But
deep.
that's my point, right? Find areas that offer a little bit of everything in a short distance. That the biggest point I could make. They like to be shallow. Find areas that provide a little bit of everything in a short distance of travel. That is the most important point I have found for early spring fishing. It's not the most critical thing. It is not the definitive thing, is the better way to put it. But damn, does it really helps you more often than not. So please keep that in mind. And that's really smallmouth, largemouth. I would say definitely more geared towards largemouth. If you can find a bigger body of water that's a little bit deeper too, you will find more stability in your water temperatures, especially this time of the year, right? We've got wild highs and lows. Like today, I think it got to like close to 60, but it's probably going to be below freezing tonight. It's going to get to like 30, I think.
Yeah, it's 44 right now, your phone says.
Yeah, so having that deeper water helps stay more stable with these crazy swings in water temp. Then again, on the flip side, shallower bodies of water will warm up fast. So if you're paying attention to the weather, you should be if you're not, and you're seeing these warming trends, you can pick your legs kind of based on that. Oh, okay, you're like us. You can only fish on a Sunday, right? Mm-hmm. If you got a cold front, Friday, Saturday, and then rolling into Sunday, it's going to start warming up. You going mega shallow or you going
me
deeper water?
Me?
Yeah.
If it's cold, I'm going to stay right on that transition and work both sides of it.
Damn right. And then if you've got 3 straight days of beautiful warm weather and you're out there on the 3rd or 4th day, where are you going?
Beautiful weather? I'm going up shallow.
Damn
I'm
right.
going to go work docks, timber, any rock piles, oh, God, I can't wait.
We just went and smashed our best bag ever, and you're only like, oh, I want to go again.
Yeah, I know, but I want to go again.
I know.
I wanted to go again as soon as we left.
Do we have to leave? I'm texting my wife at 6 o'clock. We're on the ramp trying to pack up. I'm like, I'm trying to get home, but at the same time, I was like, thinking it was Wolf of Wall Street, Leonardo DiCaprio.
I'm not fucking leaving.
We're not fucking leaving. That's the big one. Transitions, shallow flats, things that lily pad beds. This is where Google Earth that you download to your desktop, you go back in time, different years that they did satellite imagery, and you can see, pretty much every area you can find satellite imagery at some year for both like either early spring or late fall and middle of the summer. So you can see the progression of vegetation mostly accurately. So you get an idea of like, oh, okay, like, yep, all right, I found a spot. Deeper water here, and it's deep relative to the body of water. Nice steep bank comes up. I've looked at Google Maps, and oh, wow, okay, there's a ton of lily pads, and my depth chart says it's 2 feet of water right there. That's probably a good spot to start, especially if it's only like, say, 100 feet away from a deep water transition. Even better if it's 50 feet. If you're talking about something that's like 600 or 700 feet away, like if you got to go across a massive flat and you're on the tail end of a cold snap coming into warmer weather, it's a maybe, but it's not the first place I'm looking. It's probably going to be the last place I look. I will still look because they will surprise you, but it's not the first place I'm going to look. I'm going to come back and look for those points. Steep banks against the mainland. Tapered points off the mainland. Mainland. Those should be the first 2 areas you're looking for early spring fishing.
Jesus. Every fish you catch?
What?
Sorry, I'm
keeping a fishing log. Oh, Tim, I've been keeping a fishing log book the past 4 or 5 years. I document as much info as I can about every fish I catch. Water temp, conditions, bait, area. Dude, props to you. My buddy Steve, Beefmaster in here, gave me an Excel sheet. Oh, God. 2010? That I could have done that, and I didn't, and I really regret it. Every time I'm in my email, because I still have it, I see it, I'm like, I really wish I kept up with that. So, there's that.
That's why I have Instagram. I'll just go back and look, be like, when did I catch that fish? Oh, it's hot as fuck that day.
So, actually, this is a good one from South Jersey fishermen. The water that I was fishing yesterday, noticed the areas that had rock was actually colder than spots with muddy bottom and cloudy water. By like 4 degrees, the bait was way warmer. Spot on. That darker, muddy bottom warms up faster. But the rocks are good in that they'll warm up slower, but they'll retain heat a little bit longer to an extent. Plus, it's consistent structure. So depending upon where they are with that, difference in water temperatures, that's why I like fishing the rocks, because it's just consistent as far as it's been there forever. So the fish can have that pattern in relation to how they relate to it. I could probably put that better, but that's the gist of it. Okay, so, hang on. We're missing things.
By the way, Carl, that boat was gorgeous.
Oh, yeah, it is. David, not right now. Ben Bradley, thank you very much. Oh, he already leave. I had to buzz off the live stream early tonight, but I'll definitely be watching later. Oh, he's on vacation with the family. Hey, man, enjoy your time with the family. But thank you very much for the $10 donation. Greatly appreciate it. Joe, you are... Joe... You're gonna like this. Joe said, "Am I the only weirdo who remembers every catch with a photographic memory? Wish I could translate that to other parts of my life." I am also that weirdo. I don't understand how I do it, but my memory recall of our fishing trips, I would just real quick. I'd say it's pretty top notch.
Mine? No.
Whatever he had, I knocked it out.
It's gone.
Farwell fishing. You're absolutely right. Mud will hold heat better. Cam, north end of lakes and dirty water is superior in spring. Absolutely. All right, so we've expanded a lot on where we choose to fish for early spring bass fishing and why. Let's talk about baits.
Baits. Ooh. I will always go out in the spring with a chatterbait, a jerkbait, a jig, and now a glide, since I've been working them the last few years. And sometimes, usually have a lipless tied on. Just those really erratic, loud, they're noisemakers, really. Besides the jig's not. The glide is just something giant and big that just stands out. Dude, you're bringing me so much stuff. Jig. The spider jig. It's simple. It's a twin tail hula grub on a football head. You can have the weed guard. You can take it off. You don't need it. Chatterbait, though, we already went through that. The jerkbait is huge this time of year. When they're sitting just off that transition or on those little bit deeper flats, I'd say anywhere from 5 to 7 feet, that jerkbait is really gonna come into play. The lipless, same thing with the chatterbait, and you can see the color resemblance. These are same thing. You yo-yo the shit out of this thing. When they're up super shallow, what I like to do with this is actually work it across the bottom, not yo-yo it. I like to work it across the bottom or smack it off rocks. And
Time showed it. That's one of the things people requested was that we take a
more time on it,
really showing off things so that they can.
Can we get some elevator music? And I'll just sit here like this.
And really expanding on the names of what these baits are that we're showing off, not just saying a jig, but things that we recommend. And for the record, I'm obviously not blowing smoke up your ass about what we're throwing, because I literally just cut all these baits off of my rods from fishing Sunday. Mm-hmm. So
I'm surprised.
Well, and it really depends upon the mood that they're in, but that makes it
I really wish that we could have gotten all those fish on jigs, but at the same time, technically we did, okay. But the jerkbait, chatterbait,
Richard, have a good night,
and lipless and jig are pretty much what I am going to tie on if I'm going cold water, like early spring cold water fishing. Most likely I'm going to be grinding out a jig just because I love catching jig fish. Even when the jerkbait bite is absolute fire, I'm still going to pick up a jig and grind it all day.
To expand on that, it's not like we say jig. There's
like 4 different jigs right here.
4 different jigs. So when we say jig, a traditional football jig. That's a Beast Coast Maxfield tungsten football. And that's in the stealth craw pattern. So typically I like black and blue. There we go. But this is also a really good color depending upon water clarity, right? So it's got black and brown and green pumpkin. And then that's just if I can get the skirt out of the way so you guys can actually see it. One of my go-to trailers for this time of the year, because I want something kind of longer but dead action profile, Berkeley Chigger Craw. It's a great trailer for cold water. So I like to kind of vary it up. So this is your standard jig, right? Big old football, big skirt, the whole 9 yards, big profile. And then next step down, and actually kind of along the same lines, but football if you got clear water. And then this is the Beast Coast Vanquish. That's an Arky style. It's kind of a jack of all trades jig. It has, again, the Arky style head. So this is good in that it still slips through rocks, but also slips through grass really nice. That's the dirt bag. It's a brown and black, so it's a little bit darker profile, color profile. That same kind of green pumpkin trailer. So just doing things a little bit differently, but along the same lines. And then going down one step further, which I love, it's kind of that middle of the road with the spider jig, which again is just a twin-tailed hula grub. This is as basic gets, but my God, have I caught tons and tons of not just numbers, but giants too. I caught a 5 3/4 largemouth on a spider jig on Squam Lake years ago in 30 feet of water in November. I've caught, I don't even know how many giant smallmouth on this. From ice out to ice in, a spider jig, a hula grub, whatever you want to call it. Twin-tailed hula grub is really what it is. 3/8 to half-ounce football jig is what I prefer to throw it on. Brush guard or not, doesn't matter. If there's a little bit of vegetation, I like having a brush guard. I have both versions because I fish them so damn much. This is hard to beat. That hula grub, with the hula skirt on the top, gives it a little bit of volume without having a full skirted volume. Last but not least, honorable mention, which Andrew loves, Beast Coast Hustler.
That's got to be one of my favorite jigs.
Hybrid finesse jig. It's got a little bit of marabou hair and then a little bit of finesse skirt on it. Trailer, vary it up. This happens to have a 2.8-inch Kitech on it, which is kind of nice, a little bit more streamlined. Smaller profile overall than versus, say, a small craw trailer. This is a killer bait, and there's a bunch of different colors. Because of the water clarity we were fishing this weekend, I opted, as you can see, for a lot more greens than blacks. I did try a lot of black and blue earlier, and then I switched up to this before we realized that the bottom contact jig bite was not going to go off.
What did I catch my jig fish on? I think it was...
Last but not least, it was the open water sniper from Beast Coast is what you caught yours on.
Yeah.
Which is no brush guard.
Yeah, it's pretty much this with no brush guard.
Yep. It's a tungsten resin head. So it's not like actual tungsten per se, but it is. So it's a slightly bigger head than this for your more traditional tungsten heads, but it's not huge. I do think I may have one up there. I think it's a black one. Yep, there you go. So I actually had really good luck fishing this last year too. And it's the open water sniper is this is the hybrid too. So this one actually has some marabou hair in there, but that again it's like a tweener. So this is kind of like along the same lines as a spider jig, where it's got a bulkier but short skirt. It's got a stout 2/0 hook. It's a phenomenal freaking jig. That's 6 different jigs we were throwing. Wait, 1, 2, 3, 4. I can't math. 5 different jigs we were throwing. And the open water sniper was the only one to get it done, but it was in the same one, that stealth craw, which is black, brown, green pumpkin. It's just an absolutely phenomenal color, and I love it very deeply.
Throwing a black trailer. I'm pretty sure I had a black trailer on.
I think you're right. So you had that contrast in colors, which can also, again, be very important. Sometimes you don't want to match it up. I mean, there's a reason why I was throwing dirtbag, black and brown with a green pumpkin trailer versus, again, dirtbag with a green pumpkin trailer. And then I've got mostly matching, and then he had one completely different, but that's how we fish. We have everything covered like across all of the different just offerings that we think are going to work, and we make adjustments from there. Grat, thank you very much for the concussion protocol fund. $10 puts us on $20 for the night, so thank you guys very much. That money, trust me, is going to be put to good use for the boat. Well, not necessarily the boat per se, the stream, I should say, channel, whole 9 yards. Where's this? So he said jigs. You started, what did you talk about jerkbait first, then you went to jigs?
I don't remember.
I'm pretty sure you did. And then I interjected because when we say jigs, there's a number of different jigs you can throw, right? And I tie every single one. I literally had all these tied on. I just cut them off my rods. I already said that. I'm going to reiterate it. Vary it up. You don't know what they're going to want. Some days they want a friggin' meal, man. They want everything. And then some days they just want a little snack. But they still want to eat off the bottom. Be prepared to make that shift. So, jerkbait.
And jerk.
Absolute go-to.
Yep.
Plus jig. You've got both covered. If they're suspended, feeding up, down, whatever, jerkbait's got you covered. They're feeding down, jig. Those are the two that we're always primarily throwing. Proceed from there, sir.
We'll go with
That.
Okay, we'll go with...
Well, any of those,
okay.
but those are all like...
I never thrown Ed rig, though. I think I may have thrown it once in my life where I actually spent the time to catch fish on it. So I can't really talk about an Ed rig.
I can.
I know you can.
So we'll talk about it really quick. Sometimes they want something really tiny. And the beauty of fishing a Ned rig, right? So again, it's just that Z-Man TRD 3.5-inch bait on the Beast Coast Ned rig hook. So it's a 1/10 ounce. It actually might be 1/8, but I'm pretty sure it's 1/10. It's got a very slow fall, but when it falls and it falls down, it stands. And if you're fishing in the lake with a little bit of vegetation on the bottom, the plus side is that because it stands up like that, they're going to be able to, bass going to be able to track this the whole way down, the whole way down, the whole way down. And it might fall into a little bit of veggies, but they're still going to be able to see it once it gets down there. And they're going to scoop it. I've caught quite a few fish immediately after ice out on a Ned rig because they just want something a little bit slower in the fall, easy to track, easy to find once it's down there, and they've come up with muck on it too. Eating it off the bottom. I don't have as much luck with this as I would like to. I know that our buddy Sean, he's here in the chat, he came down and him and his buddy caught, I think they said 14 or 15 fish total.
On Ned rig, yeah.
On Ned rig, working steep banks and transitions just with a Ned rig. So it does work, and it's something I would absolutely recommend having on for like the opposite end of the spectrum for really finesse presentations. This does work, and I will bounce between like a Canada craw, this black and blue flake. It works killer.
I mean, we've already talked pretty much the whole first half of the stream, more than first half of the stream. Chatterbait. This is an amazing color. The fire craw can also go with a black and blue. I've also done...
Actually, I thought I had a black and blue up there, but I don't know where I put it. Anyway, sorry, go ahead.
I have also done more of like... It wasn't white, but it was more of just like a bait fish color, like a shad kind of color with a white trailer.
Yep.
I've caught a couple fish on it. I'm not 100% confident in throwing those colors, so I don't usually. I usually go fire craw or black and blue. And I mean, a lipless crankbait.
This is a weird one for us because for anybody that's pretty experienced, right, for bass fishing and has done a lot of cold water fishing, like that was a staple bait forever. Red craw lipless crank, and it works. But dude, for some reason, the last 3 years we have struggled like hell to get bit on that.
I haven't really thrown it enough. I have thrown it a bunch, but I'm not like in love with it. I don't really care to throw it.
Well, you would if you had the days like I used to have before you and I really started fishing. Like I know when me and my friend Rafter used to fish a lot before Andrew and I started fishing. Dude, I had so many good days with that bait.
Went to that pond and you were absolutely crushing on this. I'm like, oh, okay, give me one. I'm like, all right, this is cool.
Yeah.
This is sick. We're catching a shitload of fish.
I would love to know why it's not working.
Since then, I just haven't really had much luck with them.
Yeah, I mean, I've changed what I throw it on, but not really. Like I still throw it in the same thing I always caught it on in the past as far as like setups go. So same line diameter, rod action, retrieve ratio, the whole 9 yards. But I've also tried it on different things to try and make it work. I've tried different sizes and profiles and weights. Silent, your traditional Bill Lewis like BB rattle, the 1 knocker tungsten weight inside, the 2 knocker tungsten weight. And just for whatever reason, man, it just kind of fell by the wayside for a lot of the places that I like to fish that bait at this time. Yes, you should absolutely be trying it.
Don't let our misfortune with this bait drive you away from it.
Correct. Well said. Going back to the chat, Joe said net rig is a good cleanup bait. Yep, absolutely. It is again nice for mucky areas because it's above. That's what I had said too.
Don't sleep on the square bill.
Yeah, Tim, you're absolutely right. Fishing Ned rig in a tournament, if you're struggling, dude, it works, man. And then, yeah, Alec.
Alec, 100%. Do not sleep on the square bill.
Yep. So, and that's the thing that we had talked about. That's something I had done, I think it was 4 years ago now, where I really started to get confident with that. Tweak your square bill. You get that sexy swimming action and erratic action out of it, but you also want something that kind of doesn't float way up because that might shy the fish away. They're attracted, but they're having a hard time commit. You need a good pause in there for them to eat it. I've had several days where that has been like key, but I had to weight my square bill to keep it from rocketing up to the surface. A couple of little lead strips on there, and that changed that float rate just enough that the fish commit. So keep that in mind. If you're seeing fish, you're up shallow, they're loving it, but they're not committing, that could be it. Just again, something to keep in mind. Tim, that or a 2.8. Oh, wait, so I find myself fishing the Ned rig. Yep. And then you said that or a 2.8-inch Kitech on an Okashira. Those are my two panic baits. I will say a 3.5-inch or smaller swim bait on an Okashira is crazy good. You can do two different things with it. Actually, you can do a bunch of different things with it. Obviously, in the fall, it looks good just straight falling because it's got that like imbalanced propeller. Yeah, so it kind of like swirls on the way down. Straight retrieving it because it's a really light head in most of the cases. There's some, I think it's Battle Baits. They make a heavier version. So you can just steady retrieve, and it's basically a soft-bodied spy bait at that point, working like a blade bait. That's what I found has worked really well. A little bit warmer weather, but bomb it, kill it, and like you're basically trying to retrieve it like this at an angle and let it fall. And it's going to come back at an angle, almost like a 45, and let it fall. And then sometimes you can just kind of like hop it along. There's a number of different things you can do with an Okashira and like different swimbait trailers that works really a lot of the year. Farwell.
A-rig, yeah.
Yeah, A-rig down here in North Carolina, that's a good time with Panoptics. You bastard. I want live scope. Well, it's going to happen this year now. The things that I got lined up for my career, which is good. Regardless of what happens here in the next few days, I'll expand on it next week. But your boy's in a good spot.
You can buy me a new boat.
Yeah, for real, though. Alec caught 15 smallies yesterday in an hour, mostly on the square bill, out of one spot under a bridge. Was nearly every cast they were stacked. That's what you like to hear, buddy.
I saw that your post. You got on them pretty good.
Yeah, that's your drink.
Yeah, it's empty.
Okay, so we really expanded on jigs. That we talked about square bills. Was there something else we missed? Oh, glide bait. Okay, we want to talk about glide bait.
Glide. Hi.
Go ahead. You're the one that I've caught one fish in a glide bait in my life, so you're the one that's going to take over on that.
It's fun. That's all. Glide bait. I really don't. I don't know if I've actually like I figured something out with it. I don't know if I want to share that though. I will. Fuck it.
Well.
I work in the same areas that I would throw a chatterbait.
Mm-hmm.
My comfort zone is anywhere from probably anywhere 10 feet shallower. That's what my comfort zone is. I kind of just do like a steady retrieve and just throw a couple little cranks in there. Same thing as what we do with the chatterbait. Kind of a steady, slow retrieve, but you kind of you drop your tip a little bit, it makes the bait drop, you pick it back up. You just work the rod, really.
Yep.
It's mostly rod. Sometimes I give it a little extra crank in there. I don't really know how to explain what I do. It's kind of hard because most of the time I'm just.
That's okay. You don't have to explain it because next week Oliver and I of Big Bass Dreams is coming back,
right,
and he can explain that for you guys. But
thank you. That would be freaking amazing.
You're welcome.
Because I can't do it right now. I'm having a hard time thinking.
Yeah, but the important thing is like it's worth throwing this time of the year. If you're not going to catch fish on it, you're going to call them out. So if they're in the area, it's another fish finder. And if they're there, you're going to call them out. And that should give you confidence to better pick apart that area. So keep that in mind.
I would say if you're going to go throw a glide and you're new to it, If you're throwing a chatterbait or a spinnerbait already, just go throw a glide.
Yeah, that's
If you want to catch fish on the glide.
Yeah, that's funny. Joe just said glide bait equals ooh bait. Want to see what type of fish a lake holds? Throw the glide. Absolutely right, dude.
Mm-hmm.
Carl, you're dropping weight, buddy. Thanks. I'm no longer thicker than a Snicker. I'm just thick.
Thicker than a snicker. Oh, God.
You're welcome. Wait, I saw something else in the chat before we continue on. Oh, okay. So there's two people that mentioned spinnerbaits. I don't have as much luck with the spinnerbait in the spring. Not to say they don't work. I know plenty of people that do. It's another one of those that honorable mention from us because it works. I tend to do better with a spinnerbait at 45 degrees and above and really like closer to like 47 or 48 and above.
And windy nights.
Very windy days. So I've had some truly magical days throwing a spinnerbait, 47-degree water on just completely wind-hammered banks.
Yeah.
And especially when you get wind, like a couple of days of steady high winds blowing into those shallow spots with all of the lily pad stalks, there's something about a spinnerbait over the top of that in the spring that everything gets pushed up in there. They want to be towards there anyway. They're most likely stacked up in front in that transition. The wind is blowing everything, all the fish and the food and the big fish and the bait fish, like literally everything is just following in, right? And you burn a spinnerbait. And this is where you can get really aggressive with it. I've caught, I don't even know how many 20 to 21 pound bags of bass myself on a spinnerbait in spring.
Yeah.
But it's a little bit more, I guess, circumstantial for me. I know other guys that can do it, but I'm not going to speak to it at length because it's much more situational and circumstantial depending upon the whole lineup of conditions and weather patterns that lead up to the day that I can take advantage of that. So it's a little too specific for me to really want to bring it in. But yes, you're absolutely right. It is great. I did see a comment earlier about drop shot. Yeah. I don't know why. I just do not make a drop shot work this early in the year.
I don't really see the point, honestly.
They're either feeding down, or they're feeding up or suspended. And a drop shot's kind of in that weird in-between thing, right? Demiki rig, what I would absolutely throw right now. We've already got a couple of fish to look at it, but haven't gotten to quite commit. Versus a drop shot, I just seem to never get a fish to look at it. Smallmouth or largemouth, doesn't matter. So there's that. And then tube, I honestly actually haven't tried throwing a tube much this early in the year because I just never had to. It's something I thought about, but I've always found something here that works exceptionally well that I've never even really thought about doing it. So it's good. So yeah, king bait. So we're talking about spinnerbait. Fishing mode would be one to talk about with that.
Was what?
Spinnerbaits.
Oh,
He's
yeah.
a spinnerbait master.
Yep.
Tim, all about that glide bait these days. It used to hurt me a little when I first got into them. I would get a little too committed. I've learned to balance it more now. Damn
No,
right.
you got to use it like you're just picking up another bait. Like if you're switching from chatterbait to lipless, switch from chatterbait to glide.
Yep.
That's what I don't think of it as, all right, I'm going to grind this big bait all day. I don't get bit on it in half hour. I'm going to put it down and I'm going to switch to something different.
Yep. King baits, dark sleeper. Oh yeah, bud. So I've had mixed results on it. I know plenty of guys that do like really, really well on it. And I know guys that hate the damn thing. For
The dark sleeper?
swim baits in general just work great in cold water. You just fish it slow. And the benefit to dark sleeper is you can fish it slow in areas that have sporadic patches of vegetation. Yep, wholeheartedly agree. Dark sleeper is absolutely worthy of mention. If I actually had one tied on when we went out Sunday.
Yeah, you did.
Because it had all the
whole
makings.
frickin' box.
Yeah, I did. But I ended up taking it off in favor of, I was running 2 rods with chatterbaits. I had that fire craw and black and blue. And fire craw just worked out. So I didn't have it tied on.
Slower than jig.
Ferris, how fast can you work a Ned rig and do you keep contact with bottom or lift and let it fall? Great question because that's the next topic I wanted to cover. Let's talk about cadence with everything because that really is also extremely important regardless of what you're fishing. So to answer your question on the Ned rig, a lot of what I'm doing with that is long pauses. I'm bombing it out. I'm letting it fall in semi-slack line, so it's straight down, and I'm going to let it sit 5, 10, 15, 20 seconds, depending upon the water temperature. And then I'm going to slow lift, almost like a Texas rig, and let it fall. I'm going to try and get it up like 2 or 3 feet at the bottom and let it fall. I might try and do like a little skitter hop where like it's kind of like shimmying along the bottom like that. But that's it. And that's it. I don't do anything else. And if they're going to eat it, that typically works really well. So that's how we do Ned rig. If we're talking about jerk baits, because now let's work back to like our top 2 baits that we recommend and that just everybody does really well on this time of the year, right? Sean, why are you giving me a thumbs down? Drag, swim, yo-yo. Isn't that what I said? I don't swim it. Yeah, Sean, shut up. So anyway, back to this. Let's talk about jerkbait and then jigs and stuff for Cadence. So you can speak more confidently, although literally we do the same thing with a jerkbait. But anyway, so
I mean, we literally just last week was our jerkbait specialty.
We did, but we can
really want to get like a deep dive into jerkbaits. Go back to last week's episode.
Holy crap, was that a wealth of information from David Roy?
If
you didn't watch that yet and you want to learn jerkbaits, I promise you it's worth your time.
Don't be like me, and you don't have to wait 2 minutes. You can go, I'd say probably 15 second waits as of ice out, up until, I don't know, mid 40s. And then you can probably go 10-second wait, 12, work down from there.
Yeah, from like
it's not
45 to 50, you can start really speeding it up, and once you get closer to 50 degrees,
then you can really start.
You can work.
You can actually work this thing extremely hard without even giving any breaks to it.
Yep.
And I have caught big bass, like very big bass on a jerkbait late in the season. Cold water too. Like we could not find a fish to save our lives that day. It was when me and Kristen went out.
Yep.
And I took a jerkbait out to a flat, and I was ripping this like hard, and I caught a 6-pounder on it. And it goes to show sometimes when the water's super freezing cold, you can still get away with working a jerkbait pretty fast. But 9 times out of 10, you're going to want to add a pause in there for probably about anywhere from 5 to 10 seconds. If you can wait that long. Typically this time of year, like I said earlier, I like to work these anywhere from 7 to 9 feet. I mean, anywhere. Well, you can get away with going a little shorter if you have one that doesn't dive that deep. But where I've had most of my luck has been anywhere between 7 and 9 feet. That's with a 10 to 12 second pause.
Yep. Spot on. Jigs. My turn.
You already did them.
You already talked about cadence? Cadence, timing, pauses?
Oh, jeez. No.
Method?
Nope.
So, again, we're trying to... Very slow.
Very slow.
Doesn't matter which one you're throwing. If it's giant football, full skirt, right? Spider jig, little twin tail hula grub, Beast Coast Hustler, that hybrid finesse jig, a little swim bait trailer, just tiny crawl trailer, doesn't matter. We're essentially doing the same thing. Bottom contact, long pauses, slow, small movements. That is not the only way to do it. It's just by far the most consistent method for us. And that really goes for everything we tell you guys, right? Like, it's rare that we pick something where it's like, this is it. This is the way you got to do it to make it work. There's a number of ways to make these work. We always speak to what is by far the most successful and repeating method that we have. So when it comes to jigs, it's long pauses, slow, short movements. Like, if my hand is my jig, I'm only going to move it about that much, anywhere from 1 to 2 feet max.
Oh, that's a lot.
I tend to drag. So it's
you do drag a lot further
longer than you do, but that, like, sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. Right. You're much more methodical and consistent in keeping that really short drag. So Andrew goes like half the rate of speed I do in like 6 inches, and we've been out 4 times now, and we both been throwing the shit out of the jig, and I've been like, am I really fishing as slow as I think it is? And I've been watching him like a hawk without him knowing, and I'm seeing like he's doing literally to a T everything we said. And I really paid attention to how I was doing things. And I realized that I'm actually dragging it 1 to 2 feet at a time and about that rate of speed whereas Andrew is literally half the distance and half the rate of speed that he's moving it. That's good though, because we're doing kind of the same thing, just slightly different, and we're usually throwing different colors and sometimes same colors. Like, we've got everything covered. We figure it out pretty fast.
I pretty much, when I'm doing it, I'm pretty much picking up the slack of the line until I can feel the weight. And if we're fishing anywhere where there's grass, I'll lift it up until it pops out of the grass just a tiny bit, just barely. You can feel it just kind of loosen up and then let it drop again. Same thing with rocks.
Carl, can we all just agree? Fish a jig, a jig, a jig, a jig, a jig.
Fish a jig, fish a jig, fish. Yeah, seriously, pretty much, yeah. That's what we do. We love jigs.
And they're so versatile. I will die on that hill, man. You can fish those from ice out to ice in. We've proven that for years now. They work great. So with that, the other thing I will do, and then now a lot of what we just said for timing for that really works great from ice out to like low 40s. Once you get closer to 45 to 50 degrees, you can start working a little bit more aggressive, both how much you're moving it, how fast you're moving it, and I'll start working in hops. Especially once you get above 45 degrees and really above 50.
Just going to say that.
Yeah, so sometimes what I do is I just kind of like shimmy the line as I'm coming back. And what I'm hoping that's doing is, as I drag the jig, I just kind of want it to do this as it's going along the bottom. So I'm not really lifting it off the bottom, but I'm kind of making it dance as it's going, and it gets the trailer a little bit more action. Sometimes, again, as the water gets closer to 50, little hops like that. Long pause, and then pop, pop, long pause, drag. As the water gets warmer, actually, no, even cold water, sometimes like I'll vary up what I'm doing until I figure out what they want to key in on. 9 times out of 10, you can catch fish on a jig off the bottom. It's just such a versatile bait. They're almost always eating something off the bottom. It's easy for them to trigger, or to see, and it triggers a reaction from them, and like just...
Yeah, I mean, the bait fish that they're going after are going to hide around the rocks, and where the most safest spot on the rock is right where it goes, meets the ground. They can tuck in underneath. The bass is going to be looking around those rocks. The bass is going to be looking around the bottom of the grass. The bass is going to be looking in between rocks for crayfish or whatever. They're always going to keep an eye out. They're always going to be looking there.
Yep. So we covered jerkbait, we covered jigs. On the Lipless, because this is such a, well-known, very, very long time, well-known, pretty consistent spring bait. A couple different ways you can fish it, and this has a little bit more freedom in, for people that are not as patient to be able to slow way down. You can get away with just a very straight, steady, but as slow as you can manage retrieve on this, and just working a pause or two. Just real, real slow to where you're keeping off the bottom and just kill it.
On what?
On the Lipless Lipless crank, and then kind of pulse the rod up a little bit. Keep reeling at that. And then you can do a quick a gentle snap of the wrist, almost like you're kind of rolling it. Kill it again. I've done well doing that. You can just straight yo-yo retrieve it, where lift the rod, let it fall, reel in the slack is on the way down. Lift the rod, reel in the slack on the way down, and repeat. You can fish it like a blade bait. Then hit the bottom. Slow it up, follow it back down to the bottom on semi-slack line. Wait. And you can play with that pause, and that works a lot better in much colder water when you're getting closer to like 40 degrees or colder. And that's the gist of it. Those are the 3 primary ways that I found great success fishing, again, a lipless crankbait that works. And then there's a chatterbait. I will reiterate this point again. If you haven't seen the short here on the channel, go back and watch it, because it's literally to a T the same thing we were doing yesterday. The next short, which has got his 5 and a 5.44 that he caught while I was talking about it. Same damn thing. He's literally doing it in the background as I'm explaining it. He told me after, he's like, dude, I was listening to you, I just start doing it, behind you. And then he sticks a 5.44.
So funny.
You couldn't make that stuff up. But go ahead. You can handle the lipless, the bladed jig for cadence, retrieve cadence, speed.
What we were doing was we were pretty much casting it out, let it fall. We were only fishing in 1.5 to 2 feet of water. So what structure was there, we were automatically hitting it. We're just trying to touch the tips of the grass, or touch the, what do they call them? The lily pad stalks, or whatever.
Yeah, like the old dead stalks.
Right. Almost trying to get it stuck in that stuff just to be able to rip it out. to have an erratic action. Let it stop for a second. If the fish is following it, can't catch up, it's going to catch up. But give it time to see it and eat it. So reeling, stop. Reel, snap. Reel, snap. Reel, stop. It's just make that bait do weird ass shit.
Yep. Don't overlook a good, long, hard pause with it. I mean, you could fish it like a jig, but then the benefit is you get that kind of erratic swim when you not necessarily pulse it or swim it back, but it's essentially what you're doing, right? And that can be, again, only a 1 to 2 foot movement for how much you're going to move that. And you can just literally just reel into it and stop. Slow reel into it, stop. It can be as simple as that. Oh, I know, dude. That stinks so good.
It does.
So there's a number of different ways you can do it. I mean, I've had days, not yet this year. We've only had one good day. We've only had one good day this year for numbers.
What?
Just real quick, you're quite the whore, you know that?
Why?
We've been out 4 trips. We
Why am I a whore?
both skunked our first trip, and then the next 3 trips you have one fish over 4 pounds out of the last 3 trips. I can't say much because my third trip, my first 2 I skunked. This third one I caught a 5.5, whatever it was, and then I caught another 5.5 Sunday, and a 5, just a hair over 5, and a 4.5, and I don't even know how many 3s. Anyway.
Why am I a whore?
Because you had the phenomenal start to the year.
Usually.
So anyway, it's bladed jig. Just throw it. Vary it up. You're gonna make it work. Fire craw, black and blue, even like really any color can work. And it doesn't necessarily have to be the jackhammer, but the thing I've talked about for many years now, what I like most about it is that you get started early and you can keep it vibrating at a very low speed. And that's what I found to be critical to our success this early in the season. So
It's not one of the other, like the cheaper, like the original ones where you really gotta like snap it to get it going.
Right.
It's literally hits the water and it's already
just pop your wrist. And that's why I like throwing it on braid, by the way. And we had this discussion last time we brought this bait up, and a lot of people are like, no, don't do that. Don't do braid. I vehemently disagree, and my 5.5 pounder will also disagree with you. And it's not the only one I've caught on that. I've caught, no, not the 6.2. I've caught multiple 5 pound, and I don't even know how many 4 pound fish on a chatterbait on straight braid.
4s? Oh,
yeah. It's
on a 4s on a chatterbait. It's
straight 30 pound
when
too.
you get into them, it's gonna fire them up, and you're gonna catch multiples.
Yep. I just like that I can get the bait started immediately. I don't need a strong rod to get it done. You can throw that on a 7-foot medium heavy, and it will keep it going easily enough. 6.3 to 1 ratio reel, but just a quick little pop of your wrist, and it sets that blade vibrating, and you slow roll it, and you can feel it. Really, just that subtle little, when you're just barely crawling it. Versus when I'm throwing it on a straight fluoro. I like that because when I get a hook, like a bite, I can just bury it and I don't got to worry about nothing. But I like braid. You just got to adjust your hook sets for it. And yeah, anyway, Sean Miller, my PB largemouth, 6.84 on a chatterbait, straight braid. That's what I like to hear, boys. Fishing Mode says the same thing. All braid always. Tim, a bladed jig is definitely a big fish bait. It really, really is. But I want to give everybody a chance to ask more questions. I mean, it's already 9:40. We could talk about more, but I'm very happy with what we covered. We covered very specific scenario, right? And it's I say it's very specific, but we've done so well doing that same thing on Sunday.
Go throw all this stuff.
For years now. And it's just been phenomenal for us. So Hellabass brings the devil.
I like him.
You and Andrew are 2 peas in a pod. He doesn't like braid either. Yeah, man, it's there's 1,000 things we could talk about, but I want to open the floor up to questions. So hammer at it, and we'll talk about a few more things while I wait for the questions to come in. But aside from that, oh, go ahead. I got this. Sure. Yeah, go. Okay.
I gotta pee. I'll be right back.
So it's there's a lot we covered, but we appreciate you guys coming in to listen to us again as well. It's something obviously we've put a lot of time into. We've had a lot of success doing it. Proof's there. So, and what we did Sunday, just the quality of the results was not necessarily unexpected, but unexpected. We knew we were going to get into them. 27-pound bag, though, no, that wasn't quite anticipated, but I felt confident we were going to hammer some good fish. Just be flexible. Don't hold to one area for too long. You got to be willing to move around and explore. Spend a half an hour in different areas, from that deep water to that transitional point to that mega shallow water, and check different areas. Like, you should, at this time of the year, be willing to check 3 different spots for both deep water and transition points and mega shallow water. You will find them. You just got to be willing to put in the time. Best I can say for to kind of wrap that all up. But so here we go. Question from King Bates. Same lures to be used in the river. I fish the Taunton River for bass. Yeah, I don't see why not, man. It might be a little bit different for, trying to work around current. I'm not very well versed on fishing a ton of rivers, but, if you can get, I know the one river that I'm very familiar with, if you start fishing areas outside of that current breaks, kind of like those transition areas too, into backwaters, you can't go wrong. And I've had great days fishing a jig and a chatterbait in conditions like that, on rivers specifically. Robert, when do you start throwing a soft jerkbait? I would say mid 50 degrees and up. Yeah, mid 50s and up, but it's something I do a lot better with in the summer, like post spawn. It's something I really like doing for largemouth, and I've how many days have I killed it fishing just a soft jerkbait? Basically,
Like a fluke?
Yeah.
Do it.
He knows. Tom, of the baits you mentioned, which do you use straight bait and which mono, which fluoro, which braid, and with fluoro leader? Oh boy.
That's a loaded. That could be hours.
I have 2 jig rods. If I'm fishing, and I've gone all over the place, I would say primarily straight fluoro is my traditional jigs, right? So my football jig or the Vanquish jig, which is an Arky head style, and a spider jig even. Lately, I've been getting more comfortable throwing the spider jig on a spinning setup with braid to fluoro leader. If I'm throwing the open water sniper, I've done both. I prefer to throw it on my spinning rod with braid to fluoro leader, only because I've really only fished the open water sniper in deeper water. So it's been big for that. And then same thing with the Hustler. It's a lighter jig. If you've got, I have a 7-foot medium, that would actually be great. It's got straight 12-pound fluoro, and I'd be able to throw the Hustler all day long. And that would be great. But because it's lighter, I tend to throw it around on spinning rods with braid to fluoro leader. And all of those that are braid to fluoro leader are 10-pound braid to 10-pound fluoro leader. So there's that. If I'm fishing jerkbaits, that's straight 10-pound fluorocarbon. If I'm fishing my lipless crankbait, that's straight 12-pound fluorocarbon. Ned rig is also braid to leader. Chatterbait, I go back and forth. 20-pound straight fluoro or 30-pound straight braid. You could probably go lighter on the braid, but I like the feel of 30-pound, and that's also one of my traditional topwater rod setups. So for me, it's interchangeable. So that's what I do. But yeah, it's a bit of everything.
What did I get?
Tim, I could talk all night about either of the baits you've mentioned. I'm in the braid boat too, by the way. That's what I like to see, buddy. Holy crap, that's a lot of questions. Oh man, holy crap!
Well, we're not going to be able to get to all of them.
Yes, we will.
Okay.
Don't you dare! Don't you now? If I could just
questions.
Fishing mode. You're getting better and better year by year. I remember talking to you years back, not as confident. Compared to now, how confident you are in the time and effort you put in braid, put out and dedication. Thank you, man. It's really what it was. It's just a strong desire to not want to suck at this time of the year.
Get better.
It's not easy.
I just want to be able to catch fish all year round. And now we can do that.
Now we got to the point where it's okay, we can catch fish all year round most of the time. 98% of the time. We still take the skunk every once in a while. Beginning of the year is the absolute hardest time of the year to fish.
Brushing the cobwebs off.
Yeah. Now we're focused on what we did Sunday. Okay, we can catch fish. Can we catch big fish more consistently? What is this? Your braid sucks. Screw you, Chad.
Thanks, Chad.
Bass and grass. How shallow are you fishing this time of the year? Dude, it totally is condition dependent. Body of water.
We could be fishing anywhere
20
from
to 2.
Yeah, really. Yeah,
20 feet to 2 inches,
20,
by the way.
20 to the shore.
Yeah. It's loaded question. You have to be a little bit more specific. It really depends on conditions and everything. Like, okay, case in point. This past Sunday, because of the conditions and everything, it pushed the bass up shallow. We caught literally every big fish in 2 feet of water or less. The weekend before, we fished on the heels of a pretty ugly cold front. We caught all our fish on the transition of 10 feet down to, they're like right on the breaking point of a drop-off. And right at the top of that drop-off is 10 feet of water. It went up to like 4 feet before like it got like all of a sudden tanked right up to shallow water, right? But they weren't up there. But at the bottom of that drop, it was 25 feet.
Mm-hmm.
So 10 feet. It's all relative to the conditions that are going on. KR, what type of spider jigs do you like? Do you throw them on spinning or bait cast? So I answered the spinning or bait cast. Do you, I mean, you fish these. You know what I like.
Really, not often. But
All
I know you do like 3/8 football with the twin-tailed hula grub.
Yep.
With a 2-watt.
Actually, no, it's
That's
like a 3 or a 4-aught,
That's a 3 or
depending
4,
on
yeah.
brand you get. But as far as the
brand.
twin-tailed hula grub itself, I like Yamamoto's. Those are good, 4 or 5 inch. And Chompers is actually a really good one, and they're a little bit more durable, a little bit thicker overall.
Longer? They're bigger, aren't they?
They are bigger. Those I usually end up finding 5 inch ones, and then Yamamoto is usually what I go to for the 4 inch, and I'll throw them both, man.
Well, what about the jig head itself?
The jig head itself, either 3/8 ounce or a 1/2 ounce football jig. I primarily buy them from Lead Free Bass Jigs, which is based out of Massachusetts. Wicked good prices. He uses great hooks. Dude, I've been buying jigs off him for like 6 or 7 years now, and I still buy giant
They're
orders of
awesome.
stuff from him every single year.
They're awesome.
He's phenomenal, and those hooks, the stuff he makes is great. You can get them with or without brush guards too, by the way, which is always huge. G Hayes, any hair jig fishing? Getting there. I mean, that's kind of the beauty of the Hustler.
It's practically a hair jig with some plastic in it.
Yeah, it's a bit of both. That little bit of marabou, don't undersell it. That does what it's supposed to. It's great.
Tell you from experience, this jig is absolutely amazing.
That's another one that's ice out to ice in, smallmouth or largemouth, shallow or deep. Dude, we have hammered bigs and numbers on that thing.
Mm-hmm.
Literally for everything and every condition.
Pretty much, yeah.
I mean, gin clear water to mud. Again, smallmouth, largemouth, freaking 2 inches of water.
They love the Hustler.
60 feet of water. We've got that is by far one of the most versatile jigs I've ever fished, bar none.
Yep, you can literally do anything with this thing.
Yeah. Oh God. Holy crap! There's a lot of questions.
Told you.
Tim, I would agree with all this. I would only add that by saying, learn your strengths by exploring them, practice exploiting them. Spot on, sir. Oh, Carl, curious when you make the transition from, say, a 1/4 to 5/16 ounce jig to a 3/8 and 1/2 once the water temp hits 65 to 70.
I only throw 3/8 and 1/2.
Yeah, pretty much.
So, if it's not getting down fast enough, or I'm not getting, I pretty much look at the weight as how fast it's going to get to where I want it to be. If I'm only fishing in 10, 12 feet of water, I'll throw a 3/8. If I'm fishing anywhere above 20,
Yeah.
I'm pretty much going half.
I'm trying to catch up the chat. There are people that are leaving. Sean, Joe, hopefully you guys are still here. Thank you very much, boys. Appreciate it. I don't know who else I missed that was peacing out, but thank you guys. Yeah, I mean, 3/8 and 1/2 ounce is all I throw. It doesn't, I mean,
Sometimes 1/4, depending on specific situations, but
yeah, and when you get into warmer water, like when you're talking post-spawn, I've heard two very different schools of thought when it comes to fishing a jig for bass, and I've been in both conditions, and I started overthinking at one point, and then I stopped. Like 1/2 ounce is my preference. It just works. Now, some days you want a 3/4 ounce because you want it to rocket by them. It's just this giant profile. It kind of fits the color and the shape of what they want to eat, and it's just right. Yeah, shoot. Wow. I need to eat that. And then there's other times when they're just kind of like, you know, Andrew getting hit by a jig, concussed and not really paying attention. So you need a 3/8 ounce so it can slowly fall by them and like, oh, right. Yeah, no, I like to eat those. You give them a chance. So I almost exclusively fish 1/2 ounce because it's just, it works all year round, man. I love it. And it doesn't matter how shallow or deep I'm fishing. It just works. Brendan, time to start throwing this 6.5 inch creep. Yeah, buddy. Well, actually, I have some ideas for mine this year. I'm going to do some modifications, and I'm feeling real good
I
about
got a
it.
box full of them. I just haven't even thrown them yet.
Yep. Joe, never be satisfied. Good show. Thank you, Joe. Appreciate it, buddy.
I gotta sneeze.
Dude, David, any bass addict, those choppers stank. They do. Do not, if you get them, seal the damn bag when you're done.
Wear
Your
gloves.
boat's going to stink like
Oh,
garlic,
man,
but like
yeah.
not the good garlic. They're strong. Donk Swampy. Oh, God. How deep will you be fishing this weekend after all this up and down weather this week? I don't know. Depends on where we go.
Depends
and
on
right now,
where the fish are.
yeah, pretty much. It depends. Yeah, I mean,
We'll let you know.
I'll have a better idea Saturday once I got to see what the weather actually did leading up to Sunday morning and then what the weather pattern will be for Sunday. It is so drastically shifting this time of the year that you got to keep up on that shit,
Home
man.
base.
Huh? No. We got invited to that spot that we can get in because we have private access through him because the water's down. I was telling you about it before you got hit by a jig.
I don't remember. I honestly do not remember.
We can talk after.
Okay.
It's gonna be good.
All right.
It's gonna be good. So yeah, man, it's there's a lot to it. KR, yeah, Lead Free makes awesome stuff. I'm just trying to get to questions. I see a lot of comments, guys. We greatly appreciate them. Oh, never mind. Okay, I got to the bottom. Okay, back up. Fishing mode. I throw everything but worms on bait casted with braid, then the lighter stuff on spinning reels. Normally 2 to 3 spinning reels with 2 having the same thing on them and 1 different. I mean, that was the same way up until recently, and like because we've gotten so good and so confident and consistent fishing deeper water, really cold end of the year, I now will have 7 spinning setups because I can, once I get this last custom rod from John at Wicked Custom Rods, I will literally be able to throw everything here just on spinning rods, which is nice on really cold days because I don't have the, casting reel throwing water back in my hands, and I have a real problem keep my hands warm and the whole 9 yards. So it's always good. Brendan, first trip out, I caught about 4 3-pounders on the Stealth Green Pumpkin with a 2.8-inch Kitech. Unreal jig. Stupid impressed.
Oh yeah.
You're welcome, bud. Tim, can't say enough how awesome the Hustler Hybrid is. Dude, it really is. And, I'm not saying that. There's a reason they're one of my sponsors, right? Like, it worked out, but I was already only fishing their jigs before this. And every addition that he has made to his line, to his lineup has been phenomenal. Like, it perfectly complements everything that dude builds. He just keeps filling in the gaps between essentially, he's got your traditionals, right? Football jig, Arky style jig, swim jig. He's got a variety of those, but now he's starting to see the niche things that people are starting to really capitalize on. And he just nails it. And his color combos are so good.
Yep. Oh, they
I
really
love
are.
Beast Coast. Derek, we love you.
Hey, Derek. I like your stuff.
Tim, I've been fishing local tournaments for 20 plus years, and the way I fish is still evolving. I learn something every time I put a rod in my hand. Damn right, dude. Woods and Weeds. Do you guys fish the McNamara Open on Winnie ever? No, we haven't, but I've actually been debating going there and donating my money this year because that'd be fun. And I like smallies, and I kind of feel pretty good about it. So
Smallies are all right.
wait, I have to remember. No, yeah, the McNamara is smallies only, right? Or is because then there's also the half and half tournament, and it's almost always like right next to each other. Tom Baker, hey, thank you very much, sir. Appreciate it. See you on Squam, maybe. I haven't
We
fished.
should go there.
Yeah, I went back last year with Kristen, and we had a couple of good days. Was that last year or the year before?
I think it was the year before.
Oh my God. I'm getting old. I don't remember these things. All right, it's almost 10 o'clock. Give you guys a minute for last minute questions, but otherwise, I really hope that what we shared tonight was really beneficial for you guys. One of the things we're going to really focus on leading up here, ideally starting next week, because I already screwed up this week for Friday. I might record something. Try and get something for Friday. I'm trying to get a Monday, Wednesday, Friday schedule for videos up. So ideally, what I want to do is take these long form streams and condense it into a 10-minute form so we can really just give people like that. And especially if you want to come back and just kind of get the quick rundown for something you missed and then oh, right, jog your memory. Okay, go back and watch the stream. That's what I want to do. And then, the traditional, like, hey, we're just out fun fishing videos. So we're going to get there. So I really want to do another breakdown for ice out fishing. I know it's a great topic that people find very helpful. So I hope that Andrew and I provide the information that you guys wanted to make it better for you this year. And I genuinely hope you find success. With that said, if you guys haven't dropped the like on the stream yet, please do so. Always appreciate it. Anybody that made it this far into it, as far as watching on YouTube, not live, but after the fact, go ahead and drop a comment too. Let us know what you think. Any questions, hit them up. I don't know if you've noticed how many viewers we had tonight, but we had a phenomenal night.
It's actually really good.
Yeah, it was crazy. So we
didn't have a super famous guest.
We have us.
It's we.
Yeah. So thank you very much, Brian. Dave, Carl, one more question. When do you switch to straight soft plastic versus jig with soft plastic trailer?
When the water's warm enough.
Yep, pretty much.
Really. When it's getting to almost that summer pattern, really, that's when I personally switch to Texas rig stuff.
Yep, wholeheartedly agree with that.
When there's enough grass to throw it in, really.
Yeah. So, thank you. Tim, I wholeheartedly agree, man. That Hustler is becoming a mainstay in my rotation. Mike, thank you. Robert, Fishing Mode 71 has been on. Yeah, dude, it's been crazy.
69.
Sir Altitude. Hey, nice. Sir Altitude. Guys, 2 years ago, I asked one of the most important questions I've ever asked and never received an answer. Do mermaids lay eggs or have babies like humans? No, it was a year ago. Unless you asked it just like in a regular video. I don't remember. They have human babies. I'd like to think...
stew on that for another 2 years.
I'm going to say human babies because the thought of how that process would be is absolutely horrifying.
Eggs, and I want to watch.
It's eggs, but then the eggs hatch into a fully formed human. And then it's like the reverse.
Next question.
It's like the reverse of a tadpole. Instead of going from a swimmer leg to two individual legs, like when it goes to a frog, it's a human, and then the two legs form into a tail. What the hell?
I don't know. Give me a couple years. I'll think of something.
Right. Dude, Steve, yeah, how are your thumbs shredded? Dude, I went to sleep that night.
Sir Altitude,
like 5 band-aids on my hands. Everything was like I had cuts everywhere. They were looking kind of infected. Yeah. Fuck, man. Safety break time.
I'll meet you out there.
Yeah, you're welcome. Tim, thank you very much for the $10 donation, dude. Greatly appreciate it. All right.
Oh, yeah, dude, our thumbs. It's kind of healed up now. I got kind of tough.
I got one of those cuts from my line. My palm is starting to heal up. You know, it's always a good day when you got bass palm.
Dude, my hand was just like, it looked like mashed potatoes.
Yeah, you looked like your hand went through the meat grinder. Same with the side of your head.
What happened?
All right, everybody, thank you very much. Andrew, sign off. Don't forget who our guest is next week, by the way. Speaking of glide baits.
Yes.
Yes.
So, if you like the stream, come back next week. Or go back and look at all the other stuff that we have already up.
Jesus Christ.
What happened?
What a horrible night to have ears.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Next week, we have Mr. Oliver coming in and talking baits again. Big baits again. So Wednesday night at 8 o'clock Eastern Time on YouTube/603bass. Be there, be square. See you next week, guys.
See you, everybody. Bye.
Good luck this week if you go fishing.
Yeah, hammer it. Just not as good as we did because I want to feel good about myself for a little bit.
Just do better than us.
Someone's going to catch a 28-pound bag this weekend. I'm going to be like, I'm not even going to feel bad, but I'm going to be like, can you just let us have this for a little bit?
Hi, guys.